Welcome to Poetry Street. This is a room without a roof where every voice is heard. Maggie and I are so excited to have you here. We would like to start with the land welcoming. Land welcoming is to give honor to the original owners of this land, which are the Native American indigenous people. And we want to honor their elders and acknowledge that they are the original owners of this land in which we all live.
I just wanted to take a few moments, as Chip said, to give a acknowledgement to where we are and what we're embarking on. With all reverence and gratitude to Creator for the blessings bestowed on sacred grounds that we call our home, we thank Him for our ancestors and the burial mounds across each state and in the archipelago of the Caribbean islands and beyond.
For they left the instructions handed down by signs in nature and the heavens. We give special gratitude to our extended Lenape family for the ability to situate and live in their ancestral homelands. There were many tribal nations living together in the Americas for countless thousands of years prior to European encroachment, which underlined the wars, forced enslavement, and migrations in the 17th century, and led the Dutch West India Company to acquire a stronghold of land from the Lenape Nation. They renamed it New Amsterdam, and subsequently New York, after the Anglo-Dutch Wars. Although there have been countless tribal nations lost to history because of aforementioned reasons, there are still many descendants of the ancestors who lived on to nurture and protect our homelands, oral histories, and way of life. As a new day is upon us, it is vitally imperative that we acknowledge our history in order that we preserve the lessons of our past to make a way for the restoration of peace and balance for a more prosperous future that we can all benefit from and enjoy together in our pursuit of happiness.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jerron McKelvin. And we just want to also tell you a little bit about Poetry Street. Poetry Street was started 7 years ago, founded by Susan Dingle and Robert A. Bubby Brown as a part of the East End Arts Project to promote downtown Riverhead. And we've been together for 7 years and so happy to be here. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my co-host, the wonderful, beautiful author of Sleepless Nights, Maggie Bloomfield.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Poetry Street. We keep going. And what a wonderful thing. And what a wonderful thing Zoom is, because you can beam in from all over the country. This is the room without a roof, where every voice is heard. We believe in supporting our poets. We believe in when we're in person, we scream and yell and stomp our feet. We don't always do that on Zoom, but if you want to do that, just unmute and do it. What the hell? We have wonderful featured poets today, and I'm not sure that they know the order, so I will tell them the order. Ariana is going first, and then the esteemed Robert, and then our Barbara Branca. And I met this first poet in the Southampton Writers Conference a few weeks ago, and she knocked my socks off. I'll tell you a little tiny bit about her. She's a native of the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, but she calls herself a New Yorker now because she's getting an MFA at Stony Brook, Southampton, my alma mater. Ariana is a freelancer in TV, film, and live events production, and teaches creative writing to undergraduates. She's living in Bushwick with her husband and her pet rabbit, and she's writing gorgeous poetry, which she's going to present for us today. Help me, please unmute and help me welcome Ariana.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure to meet Maggie at the the summer conference and the Southampton summer conference. Thank you for your nice words. So I have, let's see, one. So I have 4 poems that I was going to read and one sort of fragment I've been working on this summer that I thought would be fun to end on, since my poems, I think, have a touch of melancholy in them, and I would like to end on a brighter note. So I'll start. The first one I'll read is, I titled it Kitchen Floor. Let's lay on the kitchen floor, my mom said so many times. Together we lay on the sapphire laminate, its coolness a hug, gravity pulling me down, grounding me like a corpse, like a body found at a crime scene. With every exhale, I'd melt deeper. Let's lay on the kitchen floor, I hear echoing in my mind. Alone, I lay on the hardwood of my apartment. Certain spots creak under my weight. I am a pot boiling over, whose lid's been removed. The temperature is dialed down, the bubble, toil and trouble quiet, and I find stillness on the kitchen floor. Here. And the second one is Knotted. And so both of these I wrote sort of during the early pandemic times. I did a larger work that I literally wrote all my poems out on this butcher block that took over the kitchen floor. So I just called it Kitchen Floor Series. Here's the second one, Knotted. I have a rich violet skein of yarn I bought from a factory in Uruguay. I never used it, always saving it for something special. Year after year, apartment after apartment, it unraveled without me knowing. One day I opened the bag determined to knit something bold. A tangled mess tumbled out. I struggled to release the beautiful strands, the yarn weaved in and over itself, complex, delicate, a labyrinth in my hand, and I wanted desperately to create order. The knots tightened as I worked to tame them. I unraveled, feeding the knot, growing the knot. It became its own being, sentient, stubborn, scared. Should I just cut it? Should I slice through its fibers? Will they grow back with more heads, angrier than before, and devour me like a Herculean beast? No, I must be patient. Starting with one end, I slowly followed its path to release it, then wind the freed yarn around my hand, shaping it into a ball. So I'm also dabbling the fiber arts as well. So that comes from that. So this is a long poem that I wrote, inspired by this photograph by Robert Frank as part of his The American series. And this is just sort of kind of the end third, I'd say, of the poem that I'll share with you today. We remember being held by our mother, but the memory is like a dream. We can't quite figure out if it's real or not. A misty, reoccurring memory. For little black boys cannot be little black boys for much longer than a blink of an eye, and their mothers know it. They fear it. They know they cannot hide from it. We bite down on our lips, cross our hands, look up to the sky, asking gravity to swallow our tears. Tears will break us. Tears will break us. Tears, real tears that would run down our face will be the crack in the tightly wound effigies that we've made of ourselves. We don't let the tears melt away our armor, because without the armor, our souls would harden like Medusa's lovers. So we don't let the tears destroy our walls of protection. We let our hearts weep with each beat, flooding our veins with tears of blood. And then the pause button is released. The movie keeps playing. It has always been playing, and it is us who took the pause, stopping for no one, not even the dead. Life never stops, never goes as planned. Things happen, we react, and continue to do so until the end. So we swallow hard, shake the hands of our old neighbors, our old friends from our old lives when we lived out here before the city consumed us. Like the crack of lightning, his death shook us awake. One more bite of the lip, and we head inside the screen door, the comforting scent where the sweet and savory meet, invite us to pile food onto a plate that we might only nibble at, but we know we have to eat something. Our stomachs growl, begging for something more. A bite of an apple, anything more than the bite of our lips. Thank you. I have another sort of grief poem I'd like to share. So I called this Love in the Time of Grief, after Love in the Time of Color, which I read earlier this year. Your body is a hearth warming my ever cold limbs, and all I want is to warm your heart. With my big kisses, I try to digest your demons so you don't twitch restlessly, stuck in nightmares. Your loss is my loss, but your loss is also your loss, and the loss is also my own. And how do I reconcile these tears and fears? I feel you grasping without words, searching for a lifeline, but I don't know how to make the right knots to ensure you don't drown. So I just keep my head on your chest, my fingers outlining your tattoo of the lone wolf, your heart the baseline that grounds me. But how can I ground you when we both know how impermanent it all is?
Wow.
So thank you. And then my last piece that I decided to read is something I was working on this summer. And it's kind of, I guess, prosy, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Okay. I found her sobbing in the dressing room. Camille, this is your 5-minute call, I said quietly, tentatively. The black hooded cape that she wore to start each of her shows hid her slumped body. This woman who had sold out shows night after night, who commanded the stage, directed her band with the fierce stomp of her heeled foot and shirred snap of her finger, now amounted to a heap of cloth melting. What could I say? Last night I left the pub early before my name could be called for karaoke. I put a hand on what I imagined was her shoulder. Hey, if you don't want to go on, you don't have to. I tried, knowing full well she had to go on. That was my job. The show must go on, so help me God. I felt her stir. All I could do was stroke her back like my mother would do when I was a teenager, crying over some small thing. As my head puzzled ways to get her on stage, she suddenly sat up. She dabbed away the black tears and gave her cheeks a gentle slap and stood up. I'm ready, she announced, lifting her arm so that I could grab it and lead her out of the green room tent. With my spare hand, I pressed the talk button on my radio headset and whispered, "We're getting into position. Go first cue." Then I opened the umbrella. Together we walked carefully in the Scottish mist to the front entrance of the Spiegel tent. We listened to the band begin the opening number. Camille's face morphed, her eyes brightened, the glossy tears turned into sparkle. Her chin lifted and her blood-red lips pursed. I handed her the mic and she walked through the audience doors. Cue the spot, I whispered, and the show began anew. Thank you.
Oh, Ariana, that was just fantastic. And I forgot to mention that we like to bring the features back at the end of the program to do another poem. So hopefully we'll have something else.
Oh, okay.
That was just gorgeous. Let's please unmute.
Awesome. Thank you, Ariana.
Ariana,
thank you.
big hand.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you. What a pleasure meeting you, and I hope you will keep coming to Poetry Street. Good. Okay. All right, moving along. This next gentleman, Robert Dean Jr., is the author of The Aerialist Will Not Be Performing, Turning Plow Press 2020, and At the Lake with Heisenberg, Spartan Press 2018. He's a multiple Best of the Net nominee and Pushcart nominee. His work has appeared in numerous journals. He is event coordinator for Epistrophe, an afternoon of poetry and improvised music, which takes place annually in Wichita, Kansas. He lives in Augusta, Kansas. Please help me welcome Robert L. Dean.
Thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Chip, both of you, for having me read here today. I'm going to read from my second and most recent book, which is The Aerialist Will Not Be Performing. I hope you can see that cover.
That's beautiful.
It's an ekphrastic book written to 42 artworks by the Chicago artist Stephen Schrader, who I met in 2018 and asked, "Can I write to your art?" And he said, "Sure, knock yourself out." So there's 42 works in the book, and we're just going to kind of take a little journey through Steve's art here. And it should be mentioned, he painted all of this before I met him, so it's not like a collaborative deal. It's my reaction to my reading glasses on. So share screen, and this starts the journey through Steve's art. Ways this works is the poem title is listed first after the colon. After the colon is the title of Steve's painting, which is between the lines. Along this road, traveler, do not tarry. Horizons are never as distant as they seem, and just beyond this one or the next, I am waiting. There's a little inn, and once you arrive, though you suppose you do not know me, we shall sup. Traveler, wherever you are from, wherever you are headed, whatever burdens you carry, I will ease them. Take the half more today, tomorrow. Traveler, whoever you are is of no consequence, nor I, unless we walk this road together, for there is no other, and the fence keeps no one out and no one in. You see how it converges with your destination, though you know not what awaits. Oh, traveler, I have left these guideposts just for you. Take my hand, the few pennies I possess, the rod and staff upon which your name is inscribed, the bread and wine. Oh, traveler, do not let the sun beat you down, the miles blister your heart, the solitude steal your soul. The way ahead is clear of clouds. I have swept them from this threshold in anticipation of you. Traveler, do not tarry long. And this next one is titled Aftermath. Steve's poem is the painting of all the order of things. And most of these, I'm not going to say much about the art because I think you can see what I drew on to write the poems. Aftermath. Just yesterday, it seems, the world breathed fire and gold, and we, arms interwoven, paused here one bold blue October morning, gazed out at the changeling sugar maple with our initials so impulsively emblazoned, no caution taken for the birthing of sorrows, the winter winds brittling flesh, piercing the bones with cold, sharp words on the order of all things, no thought for the shedding of skins, coats of many colors shrugged off, no thought that one of us would be ever on the outside looking in. Better, perhaps, that this glass be wholly empty instead of half full, beating tears of a phantom heart fast fading, awaiting only the kiss of December's lips to smother the flicker out, to usher in the season of last lost things. Listen, love skitters like a dead soul into the darkening deep, not even a sigh of spring to keep it company. And on that happy note, we'll move on to the next one. This is titled Windmill. Steve's painting is Nothing Makes It Work. And I will tell you, with this painting, what drew me into it is, if you can see in the lower right of the painting over here, it looks like the sky is dripping or maybe crying or something like that. And that's what drew me in, not necessarily the windmill itself, was the way the sky looked there. This poem was nominated for a pushcart. You see it on the side of the gravel road, traveling north from Highway 4 towards the bones of a town called Hope. You know it, or believe you do. The wind passing its blessing hand over the spiky red-brown heads your grandfather used to call hard red winter. And you thought at first he was talking about a season. Only later you figured out he meant his life, your life, all the lives of all the people he fed, all of the hard red winter people everywhere. And you feel his hand, the ghost of it, passing over your brill-creamed crew cut, the red-brown spikes of it, the hard rubber ridges of a tire as tall as you cutting into the seat of your Lee jeans, the chug of the John Deere's 4 cylinders pumping air with a rhythm you will only later associate with the perpetuation of life, the sowing of the next generation, only today, in fact, just you and the Hyundai and the ghost of callous-handed hope. And you wonder who owns it now. When the roof fell in, the barn collapsed. What made you drive up here this particular day after all the leavings, lawyers, fingers not touching, lips not opening except to hurl hard red winter words? What do you expect to find here? The summer of your youth is long gone. It walked out the door with Ruth and Emily and Bobby. You turn on the wipers as the sky begins to cry. Thank you. What I remember, Siege painting is all that is solid melts into air, which is a quote from something I can't remember. But what attracted me here was this little thing here in the lower right edge of the sun. That's what drew me into to write about this one. What I remember is the sun and how in those days we all lived within a stone's throw of it. What I remember is my mother's clear-nailed fingers clacking over the ivories of the upright piano, and how the notes danced in the warm green irises of her eyes. What I remember is my father taking his father's handmade board and whittled wood pegs from the battered cigar box, which nevertheless was laden with wondrous treasure, shuffling dog-eared blue cards backed with winged Cupid riding a bicycle, and explaining words like cribbage and his nibs, the difference between play and show. What I remember is the Sunday afternoon smell of pot roast and string beans and scalloped potatoes coming to a head in the butter-colored sanctum sanctorum of the kitchen. What I remember is tiny miles of railroad track on a big brown board in the basement and little brother's ecstatic hand claps when the train left the rails. What I remember is cats in the backyard and how much Dad did not resemble Catfish Hunter or Blue Moon Odom, and how the light glinted off his fastball anyway. What I remember is Miss Buttonhoff's blonde hair and how we naughty little Lutheran schoolboys never minded staying after hours in 4th grade. What I remember is rounding the corner of the school building and running into a new kid, and how when we got into our 40s and 50s, we faded out of each other's lives. But mostly what I remember is all the houses we ever lived in and how they were all the same house because they were always our house. If you look closely, you can see it now, our house, just barely in frame, floating across the face of this one last cigar box treasure day, me waving from the porch, the sun still rising. And there I am right there. So, thank you. How am I doing on time, Chip or Maggie? This one is called Safe Place to Land. And the art, as you can see, is very abstract. When the angel comes, are we ready? Are our wombs primed to conceive God, to carry the weight of him, to thrust him forth into this fractured world? Can we wrap our heads around the conceit of creation, creating the creation of us? Or do we search for a different mythology, one that lets us off the hook, one that preaches forget thy neighbor, love only thyself? Can we reach nirvana without tramping the mundane? Will we rock the boat if we stretch out a hand? What if the fingers that swim towards ours are ours? What if every face grimacing in pain, every skin and bone child, every soul crying out for mercy is us? If we plug our ears, shut our eyes, will it stop? Excuse me. What if we are the shepherds and the Christ, the wise men and the star, the Savior and the saved? What if heaven and hell be only us? What if we are all the things that are now and forevermore? What if the angel is each and every one of us, bearing an annunciation we will ponder for the rest of our days? What if there is no safe place to land, no inn, no stable, no manger? Do we still dare the journey, proclaim the good news, die for the sake of it, forsaking ourselves? By God, how can we not?
That was great, Robert. Yeah, 2 more would be great. Thanks.
Oh, yes, beautiful. Yes.
This one is a little bit longer, so this may be the last one I'll do here in this round. Fall from Grace, and Steve's penning is The Arc Between Two Deaths. Just a footnote here, The Arc Between Two Deaths, number 5, actually. There was a 20th century choreographer named Doris Humphrey who developed a name for a particular maneuver that's done in ballet, where usually the woman, I think, dips low to the ground and then recovers, and she calls it the arc between two deaths, which is where Steve got his title. Fall from Grace. The aerialist will not be performing tomorrow. The aerialist will not be performing next week. The aerialist will not be performing a second act. The aerialist has fallen, gracefully but fallen, splattered gracefully, gracefully smeared blood across the carnival floor. The aerialist has fallen, whether from tightrope, trapeze, matters not. What matters is the plunge, the graceful arc of it, the head firstness, the absence of scream on the way down, the acceptance that, yes, the alternate reality is no longer alternate. The aerialist has fallen again. The aerialist never uses a net. The aerialist dies a little each time. This is the reality of alternates, what we can learn from the aerialist. The aerialist has fallen, despite studying with the flying Walindas, Doris Humphrey, the Dalai Lama. The aerialist will fail again, fall again in the next reality, no alternative. Need we not cry out in horror? The aerialist lives to fall, strings death to death the wire of grace, reaches for the bar of heaven, existence to existence. The aerialist reads Nietzsche on the way down, carefully turning the pages of Also Sprach's Zarathustra, which has been extracted from the blue leotard waistband at the first slip of foot hand. The aerialist only captures a few words, maybe a sentence before time runs out. The next fall, a few more. The aerialist is anxious to see how it ends, this payee into eternal return, how it can be merely physical, sans samsara. The aerialist is skeptical. The aerialist has much experience with falling. There is a beauty to it, a skill. In the last instant, a suspension of time and space, a feeling of falling into grace, as if being born especially for this moment, this arc, this death. The aerialist will be performing in the next reality under a big top near you. That's probably a good place to start.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And that, of course, is the art that we use for the cover of the book. To me, it just looked like, somebody had fallen and splattered on the cement or something like that. So.
I say, Robert, the Steve's art and your poetry, what a perfect pairing.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. I'm gonna get
Oh,
out.
that's just stunning. Stunning. Thank you so much. And all the way from Kansas. Oh my God. Just think if we didn't have Zoom, we might not have heard this, man.
No.
What a gift. What a gift.
Steve is actually from West Texas originally, so he's very familiar with the flatness and plains. I am here in Kansas.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert. And we will hear from you again. Let's unmute and give Robert a big hand.
Thank you.
Yes, great.
My goodness, just gorgeous.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's
Ah.
great.
I'm verklempt. Verklempt. Oh, okay. All right. And the last featured poet this afternoon is our very own dear friend and revered artist and poet and musician, the lovely Barbara Ann Branca. She's read original works from her chapbook Flash Flood on National Public Radio at venues throughout New York City and Long Island. Her work has been lauded at the Southampton Writers Conference and appears in numerous anthologies. And she's a science author and jazz singer, and her work is in creative nonfiction based on her lifelong passions for music, the environment, and social history. Barbara Ann Branca.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Emptying Mom's purse. They gave me her purse months after she died. Pandemic rules, you know. The months seem like years suspended in the ether. So now the well-worn purse with the eyeglasses rarely put on those last months, the change purse filled with the odd costume jewelry, all the good stuff, oh, that was divvied up long ago. The wallet with the expired license, the insurance cards, a dated grandchild picture. All these artifacts I can safely say goodbye to now. But the boxes of sheet music, classical to pop, spanning a century, this is your true legacy. This is what brings tears to my eyes, a pang of loss, and a deep, abiding appreciation for giving me the gift of music. Among glacial erratics, I feel relatively young among great slabs of granite. There are windows of mica seeing the past. From whence came these behemoths, some basaltic and brooding? Their calendar does not abide by yours. Measured in millions of lifetimes, yet the beach only in thousands. The wind, the current, the tide, beholden to the ancient moon, take their measure, hold the waves up like blue glass cups, not breaking them till they can hold no longer, crashing into quartz moraine, sparkling with golden jingle shells. Waves surge onto the stone-faced boulder that will not change in my lifetime. To it, I give up my burdens, release the stones around my neck. Glacial boulder, restore my youth. Wave, bathe my spirit. Wind, make my soul flutter and take flight. Aho. This is a lighter pandemic poem. You can't socially distance in the Italian pork store. There's so much more than pork, but there is only one slim door for both ingress and egress. The sparkling glass case beckons with mozzarella and agua, mounded meatballs, marinated mushrooms, spirals of sausage, offerings of olives. You try to look from a safe distance between other patrons. Feasting eyes track row upon row across and down until you must zoom in for a close-up. Crusty loaves of semolina soldiers, seated and unseated, choices not to be made lightly. The door jingles open. All eyes scroll right. Another masked dreamer enters to gaze and graze. She seems safe enough, like extended family. What if the floor magically moved everyone to the next station? But alas, I might not have the perfect view to say to Fabrizio, late of Naples, yes, that's the one, as dancing eyes flirt above his black mask. Thanks. I'd like to do something now from my chapbook, Flash Flood. And this is written for the 33 Club. I have one of the members here right now. Through the channel, the bay like glass, till the channel appears. I silently glide over dark water, cross to the flats, let the kayak drift. I am nobody. I am everything. Jellyfish Medusa pulses by. We are ancient. Put into Gull Island, hundreds crying. I sing with the birds. Swaying eelgrass keeps time. Rack line of oysters, scallops, mussels, moon snails, biggest plates, soft clams, razor clams, bright jingles, glint gold. I softly paddle back. The curve of beach, cacophony of birds recede in the distance. Perfect sky meets perfect water. A ladybird beetle lands on me, but I'm already so lucky. So one of the other members of the 33 Club, we went to see yesterday, and she's not faring as well as we are. So this is a poem I wrote after first seeing her in her assisted living. Thank you for visiting me. I could see you on the far side of the glass door, anticipating a visitor. They scanned my forehead. I signed off on the rules. You came out shuffling in bright new sneakers, a smile behind your mask, a sparkle in your eyes, but not enough to recall my name. We sat opposite, each chair on a taped X. You tried to steer yours closer, but a gentle hand pulled you back. You look great, I said, meaning it. How are you feeling? You said fine on autopilot, but said, the people here are old. They cry all the time. Not you, I offered. We were always going to be 33. No, I'm not old, you said. How old are you anyway? Kidding her like we used to do. You didn't know. It didn't matter. You asked about my boy. His name was not on your lips, but love was in your voice. He's doing well and sends his love. I want to see my son, you said with clarity. You will soon, I said. How's your boy? You asked again. The people here are old, they cry all the time. Your sneakers never stopped moving, like dancing at beach bars a lifetime ago. Did you really remember? We laughed anyway. The day was warm. Your fleece was zipped all the way up. Outside noise proved too much competition. Our time was up. Thank you for visiting me. The sneakers shuffled back inside. The tears trickled down my cheek.
Wow.
So.
Great storytelling.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the pandemic, especially, I lived with my adult son that works at ShopRite. So this is for him. Supermarket superhero. 10 years since a night of violence nearly destroyed you, our family. Years of struggle and redemption. You found your way through college, through changing expectations, emerged whole through a job of service. Now you support me so I can stay home safe, bringing home our sustenance, my joy to prepare for you every meal. We're living in the moment, doing everything we can to secure another moment. Stay safe, my son, my supermarket hero. So, how am I doing on time? Okay.
Another one or two, sure.
Okay. Folk singer. He'd been gone a year now. She was cried out. Enough. Took his guitar down from the wall. They painted it the color of his eyes. Gingerly, reverently, she held it to her breast, sad at the dust clinging to the warm wood, clouding the mother of pearl inlay. They'd watched a craftsman create. She slung the strap over her neck and oh so quietly let fingers find each string high to low, remembering chords taught by brother Pete along the Hudson. Strummed years ago at peaceful candlelight vigils, upstate college campuses to inner city Head Start, at that scary protest in DuPont Circle, in Jim Crow luncheonettes and laundrettes in Alabama, where that Okie from Muskogee yelled, "Get a haircut, you draft dodger." We were singing for freedom, justice, peace. What would he think now? What should we do? In her head, she heard him answer, "Sing louder. And please get that thing tuned. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free." Oh, freedom. Good.
Excellent.
We leave it there. I have something for later.
Barbara, and you are a light bulb.
Oh, thank you.
That was just gorgeous.
Yes.
Just beautiful.
Great.
Thank you so much. Oh
Great.
my God, what gifts we have in these wonderful poets. Please unmute. Let's give all of our featured.
Oh, we just lost Maggie. We're going to unmute everyone and just give all of our featured poets a round of applause. That's what she wanted to say. And Maggie, you're muted.
What?
Barbara, you're a light bulb.
Yeah.
You're a light bulb. I just love your work. Thank you so much.
I love you,
Beautiful
Maggie.
work. Everybody, great work today.
Yes.
And now I will turn everything over to Chip Williford, our fearless leader, and he will open the microphone to all you gorgeous poets.
Wow.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, Maggie. And again, thank you so much, Robert, Ariana, and Barbara. Just spectacular work. So if you want to read, or should I say, if you don't want to read, put your name in the chat. But if I'm calling you, and if you don't want to read, just say pass, and we do it that way. But we do ask that you keep your presentation to 3 minutes or under, and that way we can get everyone in. So the first person I would like to bring on is someone that I like to call the mother of one of the mothers of Poetry Street, Gladys Henderson. She's also featured on our film Poetry Street on the Road, which is available on YouTube and our website, poetrystreetontheroad.com. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Gladys Henderson.
Well, first of all, what fabulous reading! Oh my gosh, I can't. I mean, it's just a great reading. All three of you. I don't have anything today, Chip, except I want to say I'm here to applaud and to say to everyone how lucky we all are to be together one more time, and blessings to you all. And I can't wait to hear the rest of you guys. I mean, like, bring them on.
All right. Well, there's 24 hours in the day, and there's a lady on the call that writes every hour of the day. She has a book called, is it 24 and 24? Judy Turek, J.R. Turek. Come tell us about your book.
Judy.
Thank you. Thank you, Chip and Maggie, for making it happen. But thank you, Ariana and Bob and Barbara. What an amazing, amazing afternoon of poetry. So I'm going to try and sneak two of them in if I can.
Okay, tell us about the project first.
Okay, so 24 and 24. It's on the shelf behind me, but 24 and 24 was a 24-hour poetry marathon. It's really cool. There's a few people in the Zoom room who did it too, Megan and Margaret. About 500 people participate from about 40 countries. Mm-hmm. And one Saturday into Sunday a year, we write one poem an hour for 24 hours. And it's kind of cool. There's prompts if you want them or not. There's support systems, text with friends, stay awake all night. And my first marathon, I loved everything so much that I put them all together in a book. And I'm a poet and I lie. So it says 24 and 24, those 24 poems are there. But I was thinking about it the day before. I included that poem. And 2 hours after the marathon ended, still awake, went to another poetry thing and wrote another poem. So I put that one in there too. So it's really 26 poems. And so very exciting project. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much, Judy. Now the 3 minutes begins.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Planting. She covered her bed with flower seeds, wept herself to sleep alone every night. She knew he was out there somewhere wishing to meet her. When she found him, the moon became a lily in a sky of psyllium with cloud clusters of forget-me-nots lighting a night sky. Daylight bloomed from a giant dahlia, petals radiating joy, whisking her loneliness away. Flowers bloomed around the vine of their entwined limbs, fragrant dreams drifted them together. Autumn defeated, winter winds took over, blew seed pods away, crystallized unborn blooms, petrified stems to brown, soon withered to dust on the coverlet of their blissful bed. In a blizzard he left, took perfumed wishes with him. She sprinkled perennial seeds on her empty bed, watered them with her tears. Perhaps he wasn't the one after all.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And prerequisite. I write because the words I harbor inside have barbs that slice me open for release. I write because my garden needs weeding, editing out broken canes of the rose bush we bought when we were still speaking. and cut flowers in prisoned vases die so quick. I write because I can, and sometimes because I just can't. I write because I cannot change the color of tomorrow, cannot delete the things I didn't do yesterday. History is ravenous and steals the crumbs of undone tasks I hate wanting to do. I write because my clock face has a dispassionate veneer. Regret masticates my day, eats my wishes like the dog who stole the roast from the dinner table, but the dog is satisfied and unrepentant. I am not. I write because once you leave, you need to return, and there are places I've never been. I write because fear glints off the lake like a tarnished mirror, and I can't stop looking deeper and harder for a reflection of you, gone so long, so far. I write because I've been snubbed by my muse so many times, and I need him, love him, can't write without him, and I can't lose him too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. Those
Thank
were
you.
beautiful. I would like to introduce you to this wonderful lady, wonderful, powerful poet, Dee Dee Spungen.
Chip, thank you so much for that. That was incredible. And now I'd better not read, right? But I will. Today was amazing. My gosh, Ariana, Robert, Barbara Ann. This was the high point. I mean, the day started out for me in a very low moment, and I feel just elevated now. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is called Pause, Reflect. Loss is anything but empty. Heartbreak is pain felt deep within. Surge, ebb, softened by passing moments of laughter or stunning beauty. Dripping acid in your stomach, churning fear in your brain, the devil's brew, cauldron searing your touch, the promise of never and always battling in an empty schoolyard, your image absent from photographs of young innocents dried and caked on amber trees, primitive drawings predicting inevitable failure, endings unstoppable, final loss dealt, everyone picks the same card. Thanks.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also, last month, we featured Bernard Hicks. This young man from Queens turned the house out, and I'm sure he's going to do something today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Bernard.
Great reading. So I can turn my camera up a little bit. Okay. And I must say, Barbara, you definitely remind me of my mother singing spirituals throughout the house. So you almost brought a tear to my eye, but I was forced to hold it inside. But that was spot on. Great job. Okay, my poem reflects what we make choices as kids, teenagers, and continue to make as adults that gives us enormous joy, but doesn't come with a high price tag. The name of this poem, Iced Tea or Lemonade. The opulent choices of life, often not accompanied with an opulent price. Choices that give you a natural high, like choosing between a second serving of mac and cheese or a sweet potato pie. Iced tea or lemonade, another opulent choice of life, like choosing between wearing a shirt of silk or linen and which watch will make it right. Growing up, nothing like a new pair of sneakers, choice of blue suede Pumas or shell toe Adidas. Couldn't wait to come outside to see the neighborhood's faces, rocking a double knot or untied laces. Getting ready for the house party or that summer park jam. Got your eye on that cute girl Lisa or that fly girl Pam? Is it the dolphin earrings or bamboo hoop style? Will it be the cool dudes there or the ones running wild? Saturday night and the crew want to know what's good. Roll down the 40 deuce or stay chilling in the hood. And one night trying to do all we can. Spend all our quarters on pinball or Miss Pac-Man. Hungry in the hood, what will it be? White Castles on a budget or splurge on Mickey D's? Add 2 pies for $1 or super salty fries, or at least 5 White Castles with onion rings on the side. Fish and chips or 4 wings and fried rice, washing it down with sugary Kool-Aid or Pepsi in a tall glass of ice. Okay, it's snack time, and here we go. Choice of chocolate chip cookies or splitting Oreos. Waking up on Saturday morning and feeling no blues. Time to pick my favorite TV shows. Will it be Soul Train first or start with the cartoons? Life as an adult or the carefree world as a kid at play. Freedom to make your own decisions or living life with no bills to pay. Chill glass of white wine, laying next to someone you can say is all mine. Or a half a glass of Merlot, laying next to your love with nowhere to go. Or sitting by the pool, or laying on white sand, refill the pina colada and holding your lover's hand. You can become rich by acquiring a lot or by desiring little. Is one better than the other, or is it somewhere in the middle? The road to opulence can be long and demanding, often a road of attrition to be the last one standing. The results sometimes not worth the isolation, requiring family sacrifice and lots of patience. Striving for opulence can be all the rage. You can be on a long road of blood, sweat, and tears trying to get paid. Or would you rather be relaxing under some shade with your choice of iced tea or lemonade? Thank you, everyone.
I want some steak and some potatoes with my iced tea.
Opulent choices, Chip.
Yes. You're making me hungry. Thank you so much, Bernard. Professor Elaine Winston, would you please read for us? Thank you.
Hello. So I missed the past 2 months. It was like a broken relationship. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to read a fairly new poem. So my mother was a ballerina and she played classical piano. She grew up with her cousin who was starving till he did make it big on Broadway. My brother and I were really not allowed to go into music, but I hid with my guitar, and my brother would drag me out of my bedroom and teach me calculus when I was about 8 years old, and formulas were all over the place. This is a poem I wrote in regard also to the discussion that's going on in the world about the use of weapons that require no human intervention. My brother. In the yard, my brother set the fuse. I watched the rocket's cosmic cruise. Dream of return held no doubt. From afar, I heard my brother shout, "If you stay to mine the land," said in pictures of Earth's last stand. Unlike the settlers who stole the West, this is a humanitarian quest. My brother taught me calculus, told me to be an alchemist. Mix up potions, heal the frail, help them to prevail. The world is growing rougher, help the people that now suffer. Moonlight shines a beam of hope, pray for strength for all to cope. One day, my brother left for school, and though we grew up by the golden rule, he learned to build weapons that need no human intervention, and the robots dangle mercy in suspension. I saw the wrong, still my brother played along. In his world, it is life that's at stake, and I wonder if it's fear that makes him shake. The rocket landed like a dart. Science took my brother's heart. I woke up, felt tears like rain, knowing machines feel no pain. Peace symbol still hangs on my door. I will always remember how long ago my brother and I marched together against all war. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Gosh, you putting chill bumps on my arms. I mean, really. I mean, that's pretty deep. Thank you so much, Elaine, for that.
Thank you.
I have a beautiful cousin. Her name is Yvette Clayton, and I am just so glad she's here. And she blessed us a couple months ago with a poem, and she said it was her first poem she ever wrote, and she blew us all away. I don't know what she's going to do today, but here she is, Yvette Clayton.
Thank you, Cuzzo Chip.
Go sister-in-law.
Hey, Joseph.
Okay.
So just to give you a little background, I meant to be here like back in May to do this stuff, but life has just been kind of crazy. So I didn't get a chance to come in. And I was going to do a couple of pieces because it was around Mother's Day. So I said, you know, you can always cherish and honor your mother, no matter what day it is. So today I'm bringing Happy Mother's Day back to Poetry Street. Today. So the first poem is a poem that my daughter wrote about me when she was in school. She had a poetry assignment that she had to fulfill. So this is what she wrote about me. And then I in turn wrote a poem about my mother. So anyway, to the lovely and loyal lady I call Mom, my best friend who can never be replaced. Your arms hug like a blanket. Your smile is as bright as the sun. You do anything to make me happy. My heart is filled with joy when I see you happy. You take care of not only me, but our whole family. The lengths taken to please others is incredible. You are my pillar of strength through everything in life. I have learned from your hard work, sacrifice, and dedication. I am truly inspired to do my best at all times. Nothing is impossible to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now the poem that I wrote for my mother. And it's called To a Woman I Never Knew. 1, 2, 3, 4, hurry, hurry, shut that door. 5, 6, 7, 8. You were only 28 when you left this earth. I was only 3 months old, and there were 6 other children. You were gone way too soon. I often wonder so many things about you. I heard you were funny. Is that true? Did you have a crooked smile? Were you troubled? Were you blue? I knew you always have been my guardian angel, but your mother stepped in to raise and protect me as I was growing up in this world. It was hard. I stayed strong, but it was for you and your touch that I longed. You'd be proud of me, I do believe, not because of my business or my master's degree, no, but because of my personality. I call myself the positivity queen. I'm the mother of 2 beautiful children and a grandma now too. Oh, through the years, how I longed for you. This is to you, Mama, the woman I never knew. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Wow.
that's great.
Wow.
Yeah. What in the world can you say to that? I just don't know. Thank you so much. Yvette, can you please introduce, you brought a friend today.
I did.
You did. And can you tell us about your friend and introduce your friend for us?
This is my totally talented brother-in-law, Joseph Hearns, and my husband, my awesome, gorgeous husband is on the line too, and that's Byron Clayton.
Hey, Byron.
And Joseph and Byron are brothers, and Joseph has been writing poetry for a long time. And I think that what you hear today, you're going to be totally inspired, and I'll take I'll let Joseph take over from there. Go, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, now I know it's all right. She's already told you my name.
Joseph, where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
I've been here all my life. Now, I got a poem that I call The Message. I'm going to get right to it because I'm kind of nervous with this. Okay. All right. So, this poem is called The Message. This is what death will bring. A 3-part separation of the human being. Yet the message would not come by wire. It's passed by hand, told to ear to require. As my body laid in a still state, my appointment was made by the Creator's day. So this is what I found. My body went to ground, and my eternal flame had burnt out, surrendering it without a doubt. 5 minutes after my timely death, my spirit and soul have left, in which my spirit will return to God, and my soul to face his mighty rod. In this world, there's a place of divide, but on earth you have to decide. Now, the place that is Hades is where you want to be. It's a paradise with love and joy and peace and praise, where you can love the Lord in all ways. Tartarus is a worldly jail where you are held without bail. Tartarus is the world for the ungodly of us, where they will stay until the judgment day. Court will be set for both sides. When that day comes, it will be no surprise. Now, it's a choice you will have to bear. Can you hear me out there? Hello, hello. Can you hear me out there?
All right. Hello, hello. And man, what a wonderful voice you have.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wonderful.
And the poetry is very nice. Thank you so much for that. Yes, yes.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much. Next, I would like to bring
Just wonderful.
on Nina Yavelle. Nina Yavelle is also featured on our film Poetry Street on the Road. Nina Yavelle.
Hi, Chip. What a
Yay,
wonderful
Nina.
day.
Yay, Nina. Yay.
Everybody really loved the poetry today. It's amazing.
Right.
I just have 2 short ones. That's okay?
Yep.
Okay. The first one is an old standby. I could say how these gray rocks make me think of railroad tracks and spend many hours comparing them to everything from frogs to little soldiers. But just beyond this desolate place is a field of lilies. September is a hard month for me because 2 members of my family passed away in September, but also it's a season of great memories and beautiful times. This is called The White Horse. In September, when hurricanes blew the sea white, my brother and I walked along the beach in Brighton. After the gulls had settled in the gliding calm and the barnacled rocks of the breakwater emerged black and polished from the foam, we crawled upon our hands and knees and carved into the water-thickened sand bodies of giants. Centuries before us, in the hills above Uffington, an ancient race heard the same call, carved into the chalk cliffs, a sign for those to come. Have you seen the horse on the mountain? Have you felt with your own hands the slender bodies of the gods? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. And that poem, the last poem that she read is one of the poems that's featured on the film, Poetry Street on the Road. So
Fabulous.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, Karen, how you doing, Karen?
It's so good to see you. I haven't been here in so long, but it's such such a delight. It's just so good for the soul.
Well, we miss you, and we're so glad you're here today.
Oh,
So please share with us.
Okay, this is called the Ego's Coup d'etat, and it's kind of a ballad. It just, sometimes words just come out and you have to write them down, and they have a rhythm. So just bear with it and I'll share.
Okay.
There was a man born with a silver spoon who lacked for nothing, except perhaps a tender touch from those who raised him. Learning early to chase a dream of gold and glory, his ego grew with every success and soured with every loss. Looking the part of an American star, the man built a hollow image of happiness, made of fame and imaginary wealth. Admiration for him grew, most not caring for the truth, and many more enjoyed the way they felt when listening to his chatter. His fame grew with the crowds that gathered. When at last, ego bloated, he reached for leadership in a fractured nation. Driven by the desires for gold and now political power, the man bullied his way to the top, where when he looked out, all were now beneath him. He learned deceit, did more for him in the public square than uncomfortable truths, and so his delivery of lies were endlessly repeated. Many thought to rise as well in the wake of power that he made, but this proved faulty reasoning, as one by one they were tossed aside when the ego felt denied of all the loyalty it demanded. 4 long years of cruel rule, and finally it was time for the man to face again the contest for the presidency of an ever more anxious nation. And when he lost his mind. Ego's grip upon his being too tight to accept defeat. And still others, many of them, use this broken man to advance their own agendas. Power aligned with greed, you see, never sets a limit. Lost in a tangle of lies, of fantasy and conspiracy, the man grew desperate to design a plan to hold on to a dream that had already expired. Alas, some supporters were waking up and rediscovered integrity. They finally expressed the truth that ego's claim of victory were absolutely false. Thwarted by those who would not bend to his altered reality, the ego played its last card and summoned its loyal minions, its most devoted fans. With heated rhetoric and fantastical mistruths, the ego demanded violence be done in allegiance to its cause. Happy to oblige, needed action for their rage. Loyal, deluded foot soldiers let loose their ragged sense of failure. They marched defiantly to the Capitol. Blood was shed, bullets shot, and eventually their anger spent. The ego that demanded this, would not repent. It could not see that it was not real, and neither could its minions. Unreal it is, with all its unsatiable desires. Some honest words did escape the fallen leader's lips when he said, "We love you. You are very special." This is true, but not for ego, which is hollow. Love and being make us special to each other. This the ego cannot touch, only conceal when we blindly stoke the fires of selfish desire. Too late for the man born with a silver spoon, lost in a web of deception even he cannot control. A nation lies bleeding at his feet, nearly broken in two, by giving fealty to the biggest lie, that we are only our desires, when in reality, loving and being loved is our deepest nature.
So true. So true. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's awesome. Adam Fisher, could you please be our next poet to read?
Okay, sure. Okay. This is a poem it's entitled Rolled Light from Dark and Dark from Light. First light, a strong wind swirls clouds which tumble and dance, coaxing the sun out from hiding behind the sea. Heschel sees evening, clouds wrapped in white prayer gowns. I see a jazz band of trumpets, saxophones, and drums escorting the sun back behind the sea. The sky becomes black velvet with billions of flickering candles showing the way for the round-faced moon's descent until first light.
Wow. Thank you so much, Adam. Margaret Wall, could you please read for us?
Sure.
Thank you, Margaret.
This poem is titled For the Dancing Crossing Guard. Her feet move while her arms direct traffic between the going and stopping of cars and school buses. Her hips shake the busy streets. Her dance floor is on the corner of Clinton and Fulton in Hempstead. Work is a workout. I wiggle in my seat to the radio on a school bus. Wish I had her uplifting energy every morning. She makes her job look fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, if I had Joe's voice and Jay's mustache, I'll be all right. Jay, could you please? Jay, you know I love your mustache. Jay, could you please read for us?
Oh, sure. Come live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that hills and valleys, dale and field, and all the craggy mountains yield. There we will sit upon the rocks and see the shepherds feed their flocks by shallow rivers to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals. There will I make thee beds of roses and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle, embroidered all with leaves of myrtle, a gown made of the finest wool, which from our pretty lambs we pull, fair-lawned slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold, a belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasps and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. Thy silver dishes for thy meat, as precious as the gods do eat, shall on an ivory table be, prepared each day for thee and me. The shepherd swain shall dance and sing for thy delight each May morning. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow. Lay your weary head upon my chest. Feel the beat and catch the rhythm of each breath. Blow away your cares into the air. Like a feather, float vicariously if you care.
All right. Yeah.
Walter Bargan, tell us where you're from.
Ashland, Missouri. I was invited to come listen to all of this by Robert Dean.
Awesome.
So thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
I'll read a couple of quick poems out of my book, My Other Mother's Red Mercedes. And these two poems kind of explain the title, My Other Mother's Red Mercedes. This is the Mercedes part of the title. This is called How to Spell Muskogee. She wants to know how to spell Muskogee, Oklahoma. I ask her why, and she repeats the question. I spell the town's name and know that I need to know more. Does a friend live there? No answer. Is she buying something from there? No answer. Is she requesting vacation information? No answer. Is she a fan of Merle Haggard's Okie from Muskogee? Recently, I have called the police to ask for help tracking down the Mercedes that has consumed my mother's life. Each day she waits and expects to see a red truck parked in her cracked concrete driveway. A month after my call, a detective tells me what their investigation has found out. The people who call my mother are Jamaican, but the money is not sent directly to that sunny, marijuana-besotted, befuddled island, but to an old woman in Muskogee who suffers from dementia, like my mother, and according to the detective, has no understanding of what she is doing. The money is forwarded to a storefront in Las Vegas. The detective laments that they will never stop the fraud or retrieve the money. But he's encouraged. During the investigation, he is happy to report that he busted 3 people working out of a trailer who were knee-deep in stolen credit cards. My mother never stops being helpful. I thought this book was a rather tragic book, but when there were in-person readings, I had a number of people come up to me and tell me that this was really a humorous book. I was shocked, but I've come to accept that maybe not humorous, but maybe witty is a better description of it. This is called Doppelganger, and this is the part about my other mother. My mother wants to know if I know that my mother is a chain smoker. I don't know whether to answer yes, no, really? In room 106A, where she has been moved, discharged from the rehabilitation unit for lack of progress, but really because she was near the end of her insurance and there was a new patient that could be moved in for 3 more overcharged months. She tells me that my mother showed up at 1 a.m., smoking, and wouldn't stop until the small trash can under the sink was filled with butts. Shrouded in a blue pall, she couldn't see the television mounted on the wall. This is what my mother tells me about my other mother. Repeating the story, I ask for a name, but it has gone up in smoke. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Walter. I appreciate you so much, and please come back. That was great work. Leslie Simon, could you please read for us?
Hi. My God, I'm in the company of such incredible poets. The readings today have been wonderful, and your poetry has really touched me. I'm going to read a poem from the book that I just wrote, which is Pieces of My Heart. They're poems, and I've accompanied each poem with a handmade quilt that kind of tells the story of the poems. And this poem is called Sadness Speaks. Since she was born, we shared our souls, a small child looking for love. I have to imagine how she's grown up, and I wonder, does she ever think of me? Sadness has a voice. It speaks to me when I am silent. She's gone from me. I look at the moon, long for her, hear a song, her voice singing. No sunset happens without her next to me. No flower grows that isn't pink. Alone, I planted our garden, waiting, but she didn't come. She is gone from me. I look for her everywhere, streets in town, at the beach, at all our places. Always her hand holding mine. Tears escape my eyes without my consent. She is gone from me. She is my sun, my light. I fear dark clouds approaching.
Nice. Thank you so much for that. I do want to ask some people, the people that's on the phone, if they would like to speak. Pete, would you like to speak? If so, unmute yourself. Hi,
Sure.
Pete.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. I'm actually not on the phone. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Hey, Pete. Hey, Pete. I remember
Hey, what's
you.
up? How are you?
Great. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah. How's our friend?
Travis doing good.
Good.
Yeah,
Travis Madison was our feature sometime this year during the pandemic, and this is Pete. And we love Pete and Travis. Hey, go ahead.
All right, this is something I've been working on from a workshop, so it's a little crusty. This is called The War That Needs to End. Their love was a groggy morning, crusted up around the edges, bootstrap, glares, ground glass, limp handshakes. These lizards strapped in their fight and flights gave way to a time bomb, continuity quantified in pain. This threadbare heart limping through the haze. This place hoarded ended worlds. The air was like a pre-slit wrist. Hostility caked on the walls. An orphan starving himself towards salvation, cultivating cravings in places whose origin will wind up feeding the dirt. At times I'm peak volatility, a sharpened stick jabbing at ghosts, gaslit delirium, wondering if anything ever happened at all. Some crimes are committed in perpetuity. And I want to find a place to lay my arms down. I, victim, drugged from behind. I want to let go of this rope, phantom limb, untether myself from an everlasting eulogy of what was. On the tough days, I want to get drunk, douse myself in war paint and burn it all up. I just get sick of waking up piled in ash. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Such a powerful reading. Megan Dosh, did I say this correctly? Your last name?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
hi,
Megan
Megan.
Dosh. Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island. New
Oh,
York.
okay. Great. Awesome. You going to read for us?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Awesome.
This is called Bridges. Spring shimmers with sound. Brook bubbles my thoughts. My foot rings the wooden bridge hollow. Built piece by piece with care and time. If it crumbles, I will tumble into the lapping waters. Birdsong nests memories. Summer afternoons sitting with Nana on the front porch, wrapped in blankets of story. I walk, breeze flutters the pages of my thoughts. Just yesterday, this air dried the tears of someone I don't know, in a place I've never been. Now, it skims my smile, connecting us. I pause in the middle of the bridge, in awe of the contradiction letting me stand above the water, a balance of compression and suspension. The world is vibrant with bridges. Autumn curls into winter, night transports us to day. Words, strong, flexible paths to draw us across chasms. The squeeze of a hand, a beam of touch letting us know we are not alone. Food, allowing us to nourish and share. An arch of silence, illuminating contentment. One step, a bridge to the future. Connections hug the world, more fragile than talc, stronger than diamond, as powerful as breath. If I don't make it across one bridge, I will build another and another and another, braced by steely hope. No one can dream our dreams, cry our tears, replicate how our hearts feel, filled with a spring bouquet of joy or scooped out by sadness. But we can build bridges to support each other. Connection and commonality are everywhere and endless. Spongy grass meets my feet, relief moors. I stand at the end, beginning anew. Thanks.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Bridges. Like
Beautiful.
that. Beautiful. Going to the phones now. Jamie Kleinberg, would you like to read? Hi, Jamie.
No, thank you. I will pass. I'm here to support my dear friend Ariana.
Awesome.
But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for being here. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask my friend from Florida, Patricia, if she would like to say anything or if she would like to read. Patricia?
No, I'm just here for support. I love everything that I heard today. Everyone has touched me in one way or another. I do have things that I've written, but I don't have the courage to read them. So I thank you, and I'm always here to support.
Awesome. Maybe next time when you have that courage. I love you, Pat, and thank you so much for joining us.
Love you too, baby.
The Maggie Bloomfield, the Emmy Award-winning Maggie Bloomfield, that is the author of Sleepless Nights, is an incredible, incredible author. And I definitely want her to read something today before she brings back our features. Maggie?
I'm here. Did we get everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a memoir poem, Candy. Wow, I'm a wreck today. Sorry, kids.
You are not a wreck. You're always awesome.
Between the poetry and the broken limb, I think I'm a basket case. I devour memories like truffles from this Greenwich Village square, where gays and straights dance, drug, drink, comatose, or dead in my lobby. I call the cops and a 60s evening begins at the right-leaning tower of the Riviera Saloon, nearly capsized by a drunk friend of mine in a green Vega some years before, on his way across the street to the left-leaning tower of the cigar store. My nightly pilgrimage will traverse Jimmy J's, the Lion's Head, and by 2 a.m., the 55 bar, where there is little room but for funk and bar stools. One night, I exit the Christopher Street subway, past Martin's Paint and the Vanguard. The fuzz are everywhere. Is that the Stonewall? Murder and rape are up all over the city, and they're raiding the Stonewall. I head to the $75 a month chiclet-sized one-bedroom I share with spouse, 2 cats, and ultimately the child I thought I didn't want to have. But oh, we'd make it. We'd stay. Watch the traffic island across the street become an archaeological dig, unearthing many prehistoric Budweiser cans before blossoming into a verdant pocket garden with real trees and flowers. And oh, the Christmas parties we throw, 30 people in a space for 6, 8 5-year-olds piled in the loft bed, banging on the junkie's floor upstairs while the rest of us create Studio 54 in the living room, and the cats dance the litter shuffle behind the couch before we traipse over to Washington Square under the noble graffitied arch to sing. And I exult. So sorry. In being very far from central Pennsylvania and the white. Sorry.
Oh. Love you, Maggie. Thank you so much. We're going to bring our features back, and
please.
Yeah, we're going to bring our features back for one more, and we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to ask Robert to go first.
So this one, fittingly enough, is called The End. Steve's painting is Last Day of Winter. What caught my attention here in this painting is this little kind of pinkish area down here in the lower left. And this sort of closes out the journey through Steve's art that I took. Keep forgetting I need the other glasses to read. So, The End. If you get here before I do, arrive at this last brutal, brittle day, and you cannot see your way through the drifts and fogs of winter, if you are sure this is it, There is nothing on the other side of the icy pond at the end of the trail and no skates to reach it with. That everything you have done has been in vain. That no one will remember you once you fade into the scratchy blur of this last blue-gray day. That you have lived a life of no more consequence than a flake melting on contact with your tongue. Just remember how glorious it was when we were young and flexed those muscular appendages, what the fleeting falling stars tasted like, how each moment in each season of your life enriched the banquet that is you, the full course that you have become. And I assure you, those who partook of you are sated for now and evermore, as will be I when you take my shivering hand and point me towards that faintest blush of spring, coming for us only just now, like a new birthed day, all roseate and fresh, the infant of us united finally. Come, let's make snow angels before we go.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we can have Barbara.
I'd like actually to play something that I pre-recorded. It's a poem I set to music that I professionally wrote when we were trying to make sure people listen to authorities that tell you it's time to leave if there's a hurricane. So this is called Ask Yourself, and I'm going to cue it up right now. And before it worked, right?
Yes.
What you gonna do when the morning comes? Are you gonna go? Do you have a plan? Who you gonna listen to? What you gonna do when the morning comes? Where you gonna go? What you gonna take? Who you gonna leave behind? Prepare to stay safely, but leave if you have to. Live in a flood zone, do you know a safe route from home? If storm surge is extreme, do you know what that means? Will someone you love be swept away? What you gonna do when the morning comes? Are you gonna go? Do you have a plan? Who you gonna listen to? What you gonna do when the morning comes? Take a look around, hope that you have found everyone is safe and sound. Safe and sound. Nothing about us without us. Ask yourself, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's up to you.
What a beautiful voice. What a beautiful voice. Now, did I get everyone that wanted to read before we bring our last feature back? Yeah, if I missed you, please raise your hand or something. Okay, great. All right, so now let's bring back Ariana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All the poetry this afternoon was just wonderful. And I feel so much pressure to be the final reader, but I'm going to read something inspired by Yvette Clayton. I'm going to read something part of a larger work that I wrote about my mother. Yeah, every day can be Mother's Day, right?
Yeah. It's so good to be inspired by someone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, so much inspiration this evening or afternoon, whatever.
Insane. You know, during this whole pandemic, I really look forward to Poetry Street. You guys mean a lot to me, and I just want you to know that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you all for continuing to be here. Thank you, Ariana.
My earliest memory flickers in my mind's eye, shrouded in shades of blue. It may not even be a real memory, but does that really matter? My mom sits cross-legged on the floor of a curtainless room illuminated by streetlights. She is cradling my newborn brother, nursing him as she hums. She wears a silk slip that will become my favorite item to wear when we play dress up. I'm sitting next to her, a 2-year-old toddler, lovingly gazing up at my mother. The invisible bond connecting us is undeniable. I try to emulate her motherly behavior, cradling my own doll, known always and forever as baby, close to my chest. She continues to hum, and I hum along too, grinning brightly, my eyes heavy with tired, mother and daughter in the false urban moonlight.
Thank you so much. And we will bring Maggie back to say our final goodbyes, but I'm going to say mine now. Thank you guys so much for a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful reading. You guys mean the world to me, and I appreciate you. I want you all to be safe. Please get your vaccination so that we all can be together once again in person as well as on Zoom. Maggie Bloomfield.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again to the wonderful features, to everybody who read, everybody who listened. It was just an amazing afternoon. And I hope and invite you all to come back next month when our features will be Queen Mother and Kelly and Powell. So
yes,
we look forward to seeing you next month. Chip, I think honestly you should close with a little poem, my dear.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
really.
So, and it's funny you say that because I was also inspired by a lot of you, including Yvette Clayton, since her name is running around. This poem, since she was talking about Mother's Day, I wrote this poem. Well, I just have to tell you this small story. When I was a kid, I said, Mom, I want the white flower like you had. I had a red boutonniere, and she had a white one when she took me to school. I said, I want a white one like you had. And she said, well, the reason why I'm wearing a white flower is because my mother is no longer with me. And she told me the significance of the white flower and the red flower. So I wrote this poem. I wear a white flower upon my chest because this year my mother was laid to rest. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Hold on, I'm sorry.
What have I done?
Didn't realize, okay. I wear a white flower upon my chest because this year my mother was laid to rest. I know that I will never be the same, for she's gone. And I remain, and I've never felt so much pain. I know that she's in a better place, but I hurt because I can't see her smiling face. I can't touch her anymore. When I see her again, I don't know for sure, and I have never felt so much pain. I often think about her and the day that she was lowered in the ground, although I see her and my sisters when they're around. She's in Lanita's face when she sit up in her bed, and his curling little feet and the way she wraps her head. And in Deborah's walk, I see her and I never felt so much pain. So this Mother's Day, I wear a white flower in honor of Mom. Despite the pain I feel now, I know I must still go on. Thank you. And thank you all. Love you.
See you next month.
See you next month.
All
Love
right.
you, Chip, Maggie,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bravo.
Bravo.
I love this
Bye.
part the most.
Yay.
Bravo.
Bye-bye, Bernie,
Yay.
Bernard.
Bravo. Nina, bravo.
Been a great
Everybody
Wonderful.
stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much,
Jay.
everyone.
Thank you,
Take care.
Ariana.
Bernard, I'm ready to eat.
Barbara.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you, Chip. Oh my goodness.
Great
Bye,
afternoon.
And I
everybody.
love you.
What a day.
Bye.
Nick,
Love
it was
you,
beautiful.
Bernard.
Robert, you were
Thank you,
awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
Professor Winston.
And cheers to
Love
all
you.
of you
Thank
from
you.
Florida.
Yes.
Cheers back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's to
Love you
Florida.
all.
All right.
Thank
Love
you.
you all.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Get well
Chip,
soon,
you're a
Maggie.
wonderful maestro.
Thank you all.
I just-
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day, everyone.
So
Take
good
care.
to see you.
And this is a really great group, and I enjoyed
Yes.
Back.
being here
Please come back.
as an attendee and as a reader. So
It means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
Wonderful
Yeah, I
job,
love you.
Chip
You're
and
the
Maggie.
best.
Absolutely great job.
God bless.
I think we're in
Love you.
Kansas.
Yeah. We're all over. I love seeing
All right.
you. Bye. All right, everyone. Take care.